Quienes estén a favor del proyecto de resolución que figura en el documento S/2026/488, sírvanse levantar la mano. El proyecto de resolución recibió 15 votos a favor. El proyecto de resolución queda aprobado por unanimidad como resolución 2823 de 2026.
Across several missions, attacks against UN peacekeepers have increased in number and sophistication. Peacekeepers are being targeted, often with little accountability. This draft resolution seeks to move the Council beyond statements condemning these attacks. Council's pronouncements are important. Condolences are necessary, but they are not enough. When peacekeepers are killed or injured as a result of attacks while performing mandates authorized by this Council, then the Council must remain seized of what happens next. Whether facts are established, whether investigations are being pursued, whether perpetrators have been identified, and whether justice is done. Impunity for such crimes cannot be allowed to fester. There must be accountability. The draft resolution before the Council contains practical measures to address gaps in existing accountability framework. It requests the Secretary General to report to the Council on an annual basis on the status of investigations and prosecutions in cases involving killing of and acts of violence against UN personnel serving in peacekeeping operations. It also requests the Secretary General to provide options within 120 days on the way forward to strengthen the accountability framework for crimes against peacekeepers. This will help the Council assess as to what is working, where gaps remain, and what further action may be required. Among other important steps, the draft resolution will also lead to designation of a senior focal point in the Secretariat to improve coordination, follow-up, engagement with host states and troop and police contributing countries, and effective use of existing mechanisms to enhance accountability. Most importantly, this resolution is a strong expression of the Council's political will to stand by peacekeepers it mandates and deploys. It sends a clear message. Our men and women who serve under the UN flag will have the Council's full backing. Attacks against them will not be met with silence or impunity.
Madam President, Denmark was pleased to co-lead negotiations. The unanimous support for this resolution sends a strong and important message. To the over 50,000 personnel currently serving in peacekeeping missions across the globe, from Lebanon over Cyprus to South Sudan and the Central African Republic, it sends a message of solidarity, that this Council, this body which sets their mandate, stands firmly behind them. To the troop and police contributing countries, many of whom have co-sponsored today's resolution, who deploy their most precious resource in support of peace, it sends a message of reassurance that in the event of any crime against their peacekeepers, this Council and the United Nations systems is ready, willing, and able to step in. And to the perpetrators of any crimes, wherever and whoever they are, it sends a firm message that the international community is watching, that crimes will not go unpunished, that accountability and justice will be pursued and will be upheld. Constructive partnership with Pakistan on today's resolution. We're therefore particularly grateful to the more than 150 member states from all regions, representing the majority of this entire organization, that joined us as co-sponsors of this critical resolution. Your support demonstrates the broad commitment of the international community to strengthen the safety and security of those who serve under the United Nations flag, often in the most difficult and dangerous circumstances. But it is more than symbolic. This resolution is practical and implementable. It seeks to fill accountability gaps, support investigations and prosecutions, and improve coordination across the United Nations systems. Colleagues, the adoption of today's resolution should not be understood as an endpoint, rather as the beginning of a renewed phase of commitment and a foundation for continued action. By requesting further options from the Secretary General, the Council has recognized that strengthening accountability and protecting peacekeepers requires sustained attention and continuous improvement. We look forward to receiving those proposals, to considering them, and to working together to translate them into meaningful progress.
The resolution was authored by Denmark and Pakistan and co-sponsored by 150 member states, which is great. It calls for strengthened efforts to investigate and prosecute crimes against UN personnel serving in peacekeeping operations and reaffirms the accountability is essential to preventing future attacks. Since 1948, 1,095 UN peacekeepers have been killed as a result of malicious act, including 359 since 2013. Several thousands more have been injured while serving in some of the world's most challenging environments. Notable progress has been made in recent years. Since 2020, 103 individuals have been convicted for offenses related to killings of 35 peacekeepers and 2 UN experts in the Central African Republic, the DRC, Lebanon, and Mali, but much more needs to be done. We welcome the Council's strong message that there can be no impunity for attacks against UN peacekeepers. A good rest of the day.